Now, you might have already seen some of the tweets that I'm going to discuss in this video floating around social media. A friend of Juice WRLD had a couple things to say regarding the late Juice WRLD's death. Definitely not the kind of thing that left me feeling better about Juice's passing, but yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, like I said, a friend of Juice WRLD, his name is Chris Longfilms. Chris was Juice WRLD's photographer, videographer. He went on somewhat of a rant on Twitter the other day where he touched on a couple things in regards to the late Juice WRLD's passing, so let's get into it. He started off this rant by saying, Jay, which is Juice WRLD, did not swallow a bunch of pills because the police were at the airport. We gave no Fs about them being there. He could have flushed them down the toilet if he cared. Jay was hooked bad. The amount he took daily was absurd, and he hid how much he really took from mostly everyone. Everyone around him tried really hard to get him to slow down. When he agreed to rehab, it was because he wanted to lower his tolerance. He did not want to stop. Jay was supposed to go to rehab that month. We tried so hard to do positive things every day, like ride dirt bikes or paintball to keep busy and not do pills, but every night once he hit the studio, that was it. He loved it. He continued and said, I never thought he would OD. I was always scared of getting bad press pills, so I got test strips. I tested every batch he got, but no one knew how much he really took because he was hiding it. Once Max, and I think Max is Juice WRLD's engineer, correct me if I'm wrong, but once Max and I really started counting how much he had and how fast he went through them, he had nothing to worry about. He knew the cops were there before we landed. We put that strap in my bag. It was all good. I had a clean record and I'm a registered owner. I had no problem taking that charge. I can't stop thinking about him over and over again there on the ground, and I was just looking at his eyes. That's how I had to say bye to him. It's just so burned into my brain. I wanted to stop. I had to watch Allie, that's Juice WRLD's girlfriend by the way, holding him, screaming, losing the love of her life right in front of her arms. And these tweets definitely did not make me feel better about Juice WRLD's passing, I can tell you that for sure. There's a couple things I want to bring up though, one of them being the whole theory of did Juice WRLD swallow those pills because he was trying to hide them from the feds. And that's something Chris, as you could hear, hit on, saying, hey, he did not swallow a bunch of pills because the police were waiting for him at the airport. This is actually something we already knew. It's been denied by someone else who was really close to Juice WRLD as well, and that someone was DJ Scheme when he responded to TMZ breaking the news about Juice WRLD's untimely death. And also Lil Bibby denied that publicly earlier this year on an interview with DJ Vlad.
They were saying, in the report it said to hide them from the police when they were trying to board the police. No. That's just not true.
That's a lie, but I don't want to talk nothing about that, Vlad.
So Chris, of course, confirmed what we already knew. Something else I want to hit on is the tweet about Juice WRLD being hooked bad. I think it's safe to say that you didn't really have to know Juice WRLD personally to know that Juice was addicted, man. It was all over the music. Although that was the case with Juice WRLD, there was that perspective of Juice a lot of us had that kind of went something like, maybe Juice WRLD isn't as deep into his addiction as he portrays in the music. Because at the end of the day, even though the music for these artists is their truth, there's always the possibility of artists exaggerating things for the sake of creating a record. And by the way, I don't consider that lying. Personally, the way I look at it, it's a part of being an artist. You exaggerate a little bit just so the listeners can really feel the emotions you're trying to convey with the music. And Juice WRLD was a master at that. But that whole perspective of Juice was always present. But then again, the way he spoke about the drugs, man, it sounded too real to be a facade. But now, after Juice WRLD's friend Chris said what he said, it just confirms what we always had in the back of our minds. The thought that really hurts, like really hurts, do you know what that is? If Juice didn't swallow those pills to hide them from the feds, then why exactly did he do it? What exactly was going through his head at that moment? Because since the late Juice WRLD was so hooked on the pills, he obviously had a lot of experience with them. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that Juice WRLD probably knew what a fatal dose of Percocet pills consisted of, and he still went through with it. But why did he do it? Well, that's the very much confusing part that none of us will truly know the answer to. Not even his friends, let alone his family, will probably never know why he truly did it. That's really the saddest part about Juice's passing. It's that why question that's forever gonna haunt us. It was maybe an impulse kind of situation. You're on a PJ with a bunch of narcotics and firearms. You then find out that the feds have swarmed the airport waiting for you. You start to panic. You're not in the right headspace because you're already off something, and then boom, you act on it faster than you can blink. Swallow the pills, and yeah. Had Juice WRLD gone to rehab that same month like he was supposed to, maybe this would have never happened. Like Chris himself said, Juice was hiding the amount of drugs he was taking. That's how deep into it he was. Obviously, he knew that it was an issue, which is presumably why he agreed to go to rehab, but like Chris said, Juice did not want to stop. This is something Lil Bibby also talked about on that DJ Vlad interview. I don't want to say that Juice was in denial. He was, from what I can see, just addicted. This is the reality of addiction. This is how it plays out. You could have a million people around you telling you to stop, but if you can't find the inner strength inside of yourself to actually stop, the same movie's gonna keep on playing until it ends, which that movie for the late Juice WRLD obviously ended. Does any of this make me feel better about anything that has to do with Juice's passing? Absolutely not, but then again, we can't ignore reality when it's right in front of us. But yeah, I don't even know what to say, man. A lot of this information we actually knew, like the Juice hiding the pills from the feds theory, that was false. But I guess this, I don't know, serves as confirmation for how addicted Juice actually was, to the point where he was lying about the amount he was using. That boy was clearly hurting, man, and it's so sad, so sad. But yeah. Any thoughts on this? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.